Hi, I'm L-Dog. I've been part of the Ring Racers community for over 7 years, ever since SRB2 card released. And, conservatively, I've played over 2,000 hours across both games. I've learned a lot in those 2,000 hours, and I'm here to share some of my insights with you so that you don't have to spend nearly that long learning yourself. This is my relatively unscripted video on sliptiding. This is more of a 102 course. You're expected to know how to sliptide already, but just in case you don't know, or you've never played Ring Racers, I'll demonstrate quickly for you. If you do know already, or you're just sick of my yapping, there'll be timestamps for you to jump ahead. These are sneaker panels, basically dash panels from Mario Kart. If I go over them and I hold drift, I'll drift. You can see my input display in the bottom right there. Wow. And if I continue to drift, I'll get a spark, and if I let it go, I'll accelerate quickly, just like Mario Kart. But if I instead tap drift, I'll start to sliptide. And you can see my turning radius is much bigger, and there's this big vortex behind me called a wave dash. This wave dash will continue to stay behind me as long as I'm boosting or holding drift, and it gives me a little bit of a speed boost while I have it. And as you can see, when I let it go, it gives me an extra speed boost, which is proportional to how long you spend building it. So since I turned very hard, I got a big wave dash. The first example of practical sliptiding I'm going to give is on Sonic Speedway, a very early track. There's this little S-bend here, and you'll see on the outside, there's a sneaker panel. Now you can kind of get away with just drifting or driving over it, but you might hit the wall there. You can get away with drifting over it. It's not a bad idea. You can take a pretty good line while doing it. But online, the good players will take it by sliptiding. If you pay attention for a moment to the minimap on the right, you'll see the little dot around my character's icon. That is my facing angle. You'll see I'm facing south, and now I'm facing north. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drift to adjust my facing angle, and then immediately let go of drift to start a sliptide in the other direction. So you'll see I drift, then I let go, and now I have the wave dash behind me. And if I keep drifting, I can hold this wave dash all the way to the next set of boost panels. All the way around this turn, there's another opportunity to sliptide here, and even another opportunity to sliptide here, and now I can finally let it go on this nice long straightaway, and you can see I get almost up to 200% speed there. And it all starts with that one sneaker panel there that lets me get the wave dash initially. You don't have to hold it the entire lap. You can use it here. You can use it to cut this tripwire if you're far enough behind. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But it's much better than just drifting over it. You get that big burst of speed pretty much wherever you want on the map, as long as you can handle your kart. The second example I have here is Lucid Pass, another early track. This is probably the first instance of a forced sliptide in the game. You'll see, if I drive over the sneaker panel normally, I go careening into the off-road. If I drift over it, I go careening into the off-road. But if I sliptide over it, even if I bonk the wall, I can make the turn absolutely no problem. And if I sliptide and then hold drift, I keep holding, I can use my wave dash here to cut across this entire section of off-road. And if you look at the minimap, that's like a whole S-bend and then a little more. It's a big section of track. Online, a lot of players do this, and offline, the bots don't. So you can get a huge lead over them just by doing this one little strategy. Kind of an aside, but something that I think is important for new players to learn in this game is that off-road isn't really a death sentence like in Mario Kart or SRB2 Kart. This is a great track to showcase it, as long as you have the speed to back it up through rings or a wave dash, or, you know, if you have items as well, you can just kind of cut across it. Like, you can just take this line, you can go completely through here. You know, you're not going to get slowed down too much or completely stop dead like you would in the glue traps of SRB2 Kart. So far, I've showcased off-angled sneaker panels, but what about compulsory ones? This spiral in Popcorn Workshop begins with a sneaker panel spanning the whole track. As you can see, you can drift around the entire spiral. It's not a bad idea, but you can see I get the rainbow spark there, and I'm kind of left holding it for a little while before I get to the top. So, what if we try sliptiding? Not great. You don't really have enough speed from the single sneaker panel, and even if I spend a lot of rings to go faster, I'm not going to make it all the way around. So, what if we do both? You can absolutely have your cake and eat it too. You can sliptide and then just start drifting. Keep building the spark, and then boom, you see? I get it right at the top of the spiral, I exit it with pretty much just as much speed as I would, and if I keep drifting around here, see I can hold it, and hold it, and hold it, till I get to this long straightaway at the finish line, and accelerate up to about 200% again. All this off of just one sneaker panel right here. You can also keep the wave dash for these conveyor belts here, online or with bots. You know, sometimes they get swapped on you, and they can be pretty devastating to get stuck on. You can't really spin dash to get over them because you're moving. It's rough. So it can be a bit of a safe play to do that as well. The next map I'm showcasing is a more technical one, Isolated Island. This is a more technical strategy, but it showcases using a wave dash in a different way. If I drive this normally, you can see, I'll go up here, I'll drift, I'll take this dash panel, and I get deposited by the dash rings right onto this little upslope here. It kills my momentum, it kills my vibe, it's just not great. So, if we instead come into the sneaker panel with a little more speed, and build a sliptide around this corner, then start drifting, drift even though it's a straightaway, then boom, you let it resolve, and you come out of here with much more speed. Which goes to show, even if you aren't doing something crazy, you're not holding a wave dash all across the entire track, they can be very helpful just to accelerate and get up to speed after some forced slowdown sections. Especially if, like me, you're playing a speed type character, which comes at the cost of acceleration. Wave dashes can be very useful just to accelerate and get back up to speed. The next map I'm showcasing is Cadillac Canyon Classic. This is actually one of the last maps you unlock, but as you can see on the minimap, it's roughly divided into two halves. A couple long straightaways and a very gradual winding upwards climb. This is the best map to showcase the power of the small boost a wave dash can give you while holding it. Now keep your eye on the speedometer here in the bottom left. I'm going to make this climb without spending a single ring. And you can see, there's one little downslope here, and the long upwards climb begins. So I'm going to come around this corner. You can see we dip to about 75%. Come around here, dip to about 80, come around this final turn, back down to about 90, 80. Not bad, but we can do better. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to perform a snake tide, which is 2 slip tides in quick succession to get a wave dash on a straightaway. Then I'm going to hold it for the entire duration of the climb without spending rings. Keep your eye on the speedometer again, and you'll see, boom, the wave dash turns opaque, it clicks, now I can hold it behind me for as long as I drift. We dip to about 85%, 90 there. We do this long winding turn, about 90. This long winding turn, about 90 again. And then, as a little bonus, resolve the wave dash on this long straightaway, and bada bing bada boom. So you can see it's not a lot. It's like roughly 5 or 10% faster, but it makes a difference, especially on long uphill slopes and maps like this that don't have very many rings. Now, the final tip I have for you is on Hardhat Havoc. Some maps, like this one, have sneaker panels accessible in position. In the time you have before the race, it can be very valuable to go out of your way to get a wave dash. So, what I'm going to do here is immediately turn around and make a beeline for the tripwire behind me. I'm going to bounce off the tripwire here, but importantly, I can build a wave dash. I'm going to brake and just drift just to keep it. Oh, and I don't get first blood, but I've still got my wave dash. So, I can catch right back up to first place here, like nothing ever happened. This is especially valuable before the first checkpoint online, because it's just a complete mosh pit. It's going to be a ton of players bumping and whipping each other. It's just going to be absolute pandemonium. So frankly, the sooner you can get out of there, the better. And this is a very consistent way to escape the pack, basically. Only one player can get first blood, but you can get a wave dash without even competing for it. Yeah. So, if you've watched any of my streams, you'll know that I have no idea how to end them. They usually end very abruptly, and this is no different. Bye!